All right, one more extra criticism sucks. This guy is saying that Channing Tatum's Gambit sucked ass. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into this video and see what he has to say.
Channing Tatum as Gambit. Yes. Do I think he'll make a good Gambit? Honestly, not. Because the cameo sucked.
I'm sure you're going to explain why.
First and foremost, let me just say this. Back in 2008, between 2008, 2016, 10ish, 17ish, in that era, Channing Tatum had the potential of becoming a box office superstar. I mean, he was in G.I. Joe. He was in a movie with Jamie Foxx, White House Down, which was good. But he hasn't had any big roles ever since then. I really thought this guy had potential of being an action superstar and not the B-list.
Okay, so I fast forwarded because he talks like so goddamn slow. But the thing here is that Channing Tatum was kind of screwed out of being Gambit. Like they wanted to do a Gambit movie, then they kept playing around with it. They casted him, and then they couldn't get it off the ground for some reason, and then it just headed into the Foxverse imploding with X-Men, Dark Phoenix, and also the New Mutants, whatever the fuck the New Mutants was. Yeah, he kind of got fucked over, and then the universe imploded, and then Disney bought Fox, and the rest was history, right? That movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, was a love letter to showing that this guy had the capability of being Gambit. He wanted to play the role, he wanted to embody it. I found him fine. I don't see the big issue with him having a role that is a callback to a role that he was supposed to get, but the studio fucked him over. So it's fine, right? It's like, yeah, it's better late than never, which is why I'm glad they included him in Deadpool and Wolverine to begin with. And I think he was funny.
Actor, the menial B-list actor that he is. So
Wait, hold on. Did he call him a B-list actor?
star and not the B-list actor, the menial B-list actor that he is.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you get like high tier comic book roles, right? You are known forever. You're known for a long time. Same thing happened with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, but yeah, it's just like he didn't get his moment to shine, so they decided to help him shine in this movie.
So I had high hopes for Channing Tatum. I think his management, he probably just had the wrong management, but I think right now he's kind of getting washed up because, I mean, he's in his mid-40s now.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like I said, better late than never. I think 40 is like not all that old though either. Like if he was like 50 or 60, then yeah. If he was like up there with Mahershala Ali as Blade, like yeah, I'd be saying this man's getting like way too old. But I mean, even a 70-year-old fucking Michael Keaton played Batman and the Flash. Some people they still got it. Even at that age, they still can do it. So I mean, fucking who's that dude? Nobody. I forget his name. He's old too, and he was doing like high tier fight scenes. Like this dude was jumping through windows and getting thrown and being beat up on the bus. I forget his name, but he's in Nobody. He had a heart condition as well, and he I think he did. And he was doing all these fucking fight scenes. It was crazy. So some people they still got it at an older age. Don't count people out just because they might be at a certain age. Like sometimes, maybe if you're 80 or 90, you can't do no fucking stunts. But still, like some people can still do it, so you never know.
And the role,
Also, Channing did do all the stunts, by the way, in Deadpool and Wolverine at 44. So I think he can still handle being in like another multiverse movie. You just never know.
for Gambit needs to be played by a younger actor, somewhere in their late 20s to early 30s, probably.
All right. I assume they're gonna have their own variations of the X-Men with the Sacred Timeline. It's probably gonna be a younger Gambit running around anyway. It is the multiverse. I guess they're gonna make it make sense. If you knew that, you would have paid attention. Maybe brought that up as a point. Just saying.
His late 20s. I didn't like his cameo. I thought if you're if you're in this movie, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie for just dumb fun, then and you're just like a dumb naive little kid.
What? Hold on. Rewind that. If you're in a Deadpool movie for dumb fun, then there's an issue. A Deadpool movie, a character that is getting notoriety for being like wacky, goofy, making jokes, all that other shit. Remember, like, there was a certain point in time in the comics where Deadpool was actually serious, but yeah, the character is now being beloved for breaking the fourth wall and everything, and being hokey and jokey and all this other shit, and you have a problem with this because they embodied that with another character. What the fuck is he talking about, man?
I didn't like his cameo. I thought if you're in this movie, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie for just dumb fun, then and you're just like a dumb naive little kid, yeah, you'll love it, you know. But me, being grown up in the '90s and love dark movies and serious movies, I think Channing Tatum's role as Gambit in the Deadpool movie was just mediocre.
Why are you watching a Deadpool movie and you're a fan of most dark elements in comic books and stuff like that? Like, why are you watching this movie? You know it's probably not for you, right? That's another thing. Like, people need to be sincere. Like, if it's not for you, just say it's, hey, it wasn't for me, but because of the comedic elements, but I still can find things to appreciate here for what they did. Like, usually if you try something and you know it's not for you, you can still try to recognize what they tried to do with the character, with the film and everything, right? Why are you watching a fucking Deadpool movie expecting it to be like dark at all, or expecting more darker elements? You know, Remy LeBeau is pretty much like a very charismatic character. He's not like a dark character or anything. I can see if they tried to make a joke out of someone like Batman that is usually serious, right? And you know, there is the older Batmans that were a bit more jokey, like Adam West Batman. That was a bit more of a comedic take on the whole theme of Batman and everything, but I still think that mostly Batman is known for being grimdark. So you watch Batman for darker elements and play with crime and everything. Whereas Deadpool is like, yeah, they're going there to have a good time with a charismatic character like Remy LeBeau. So what are you expecting there? Like, I'm serious. Like, why do you watch this to expect dark elements? I'm a dark element fan, but I expect Deadpool, you know, to basically be a little bit more serious with the situation. There is serious moments sometimes as well in the Deadpool characterization, but you're not gonna get that like 24/7 over him just cracking wise and shit. I don't understand that logic at all.
Low mediocre. This guy had makeup on his face. He had eyeliner on his face.
Ah, yes, eyeliner, which is the main reason why I think a character is mediocre. Oh man.
He had like that blush on his cheeks. At first, when I seen the camera, I thought it was a woman. That's not all the problems I had with his character in the film. It was his costume. Now, the only thing that I actually
thought the costume was, you know, kind of accurate to the comics, especially with the black leather going up to the face and everything, the signature brown coat. You know, I remember watching X-Men as a cartoon. They kind of killed that costume. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what the fuck is he talking about where he had issues with the costume? I don't get it. I think they made it as accurate as they possibly could. The only thing I would say is that I kind of miss the eyes being, well, you know, red, the red eyes, and I kind of miss the stubble, which I guess is something they could do in maybe Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars if he shows up again. But I do miss the stubble on Gambit. But it's just like, that's nitpicking. It's still a great costume when you look at everything else. We're talking about like eye features and facial stubble, you know what I mean? But the costume itself is fine.
liked about his costume was the jacket. I didn't like that pink in the middle of his chest.
Well, it's accurate to how he originally looked, so I just, what the fuck? All right.
I just thought that looks real girly on a character that's supposed to be real masculine.
You know, Vegeta is the most masculine you could get in Dragon Ball, and even he had a Batman pink shirt. Hey, just something I want to throw out there real quick. Just something I want to throw out there. Like the point is really you can find either effeminate looking or masculine characters wearing pink in different types of media, and they could be legit powerhouses, whether villain or protagonist. We've seen it before. We've seen badass superheroes beat the fuck out of people, and they're wearing like purple and shit, like hot purple. You know what I mean, or hot pink, or some shit like that. Like, you do see it. You do see it. You do see it in anime. You see it in places. It exists. It's all about the story and characterization. Always. That's been paramount. It doesn't matter what the character is wearing. I don't care if they're wearing like a fucking rainbow, man. As long as they're cool, that's all I give a shit about. As long as they make a threatening presence, they're intimidating and it works, or they're charming or characteristic, or they have some property they home in on and it's really, really good. They're wise. It doesn't matter because the character has already immersed me into the story. You seem hyper focused on someone wearing eyeliner and saying that this is effeminate, that all this shit. You have an issue with that, but I mean, the Crow kind of has eyeliner as his gimmick, and that is a very appreciated and badass character. What do you have to say about that? What is the major opinion on that so far? Someone who does it willingly and they are still super cool, regardless, with all the gothic black and everything. Do you have an excuse for that? Are you going to shit on the Crow fans from 1990 or whatever, 1995, 1996, whenever it came out? I forget. I might be wrong on both fronts, but still, that was a very cool looking character. And he wore eyeliner. Eric Draven wore eyeliner. There you go. Yeah, to me, it's a nothing burger. It could be a hero wearing pink and fucking they can easily destroy you. A villain, hero, etc. It really don't matter. We've seen it before in different mediums. We will probably see it again where someone that is a male favors that color and they are still a deadly threat. It is all about the characterization of that character in my mind.
That's supposed to be real masculine. Another problem I had with Gambit in the Deadpool Wolverine movie was his accent. It seemed like Channing Tatum was just acting.
He was just acting. Okay, that's a terrible sort of input device from him. But look, listen. Apparently, from what I heard in the interviews, the accent was intentional. He can hold that accent for normal conversations. And it was also parts where they were playing into Deadpool, making jokes of that accent. Oh, where did you get your speech coach from? The Minions? Like, that was intentional. When he was talking really fast, it was playing into the joke that Deadpool couldn't understand him. I don't know how you didn't get that it was part of the acting process and it was part of the joke.
And maybe I'm looking at this movie wrong. Maybe this...
Oh, you absolutely are. 100%. 100%.
Movie is just supposed to be dumb fun. You know, everybody know...
It is supposed to be dumb fun. What the fuck? What do you go to watch a Deadpool movie for? The violence and the completely wacky nature of fucking Wade Wilson doing all sorts of jokes and making sure that no stone is unturned. That's what you're watching the film for. Mostly, those 2 points, at least for me. I don't know about you. You expect more dark elements from a Deadpool movie, apparently. Okay.
I like dark and serious movies. Now, I am for comedy, but not every 5 minutes full of jokes. I'm not with that.
Deadpool he's a mostly jokey character now, so that's kind of what he does. That's kind of that's kind of what we watch these films for.
So, I think Channing Tatum, I think his role was just goofy. And like I said, if you're a dumb, naive little kid, or just some...
Why do you have to diminish people as like, oh, you're a dumb little kid if you enjoyed Gambit's jokes bouncing off Deadpool in this movie? Like, huh? You know this is an R-rated movie. I don't get that logic or philosophy. Maybe they were done in poor taste, and that's what he's saying. But I, I don't. I think that's like just kind of intelligence insulting to me.
People who are like mediocre with mediocre interests, this will work for you. But for somebody like me,
See that too is like he's just saying, oh, the film is shit, the film is shit, the film is shit because it just wasn't for me. That's all he's saying.
who like dark and dark tone movies and serious characters,
I expected more dark elements, so they didn't give me that film of shit. Like, what fucking argument? This channel sucks, dude. Like, I swear to God.
I just couldn't rock with Channing Tatum. His accent seemed like he was trying too hard. It seemed like he was just in it just for the check. His face looked fat and bloaty.
His face looked fat and bloaty.
Tatum. His accent seemed like he was trying too hard. It seemed like he was just in it just for the check.
That's how Gambit talks, fast Cajun accent. That's usually what to expect. And I don't know. You talk about all this stuff about, oh, he's why are you focused so much on his facial features? I'm just curious about it. Like, why? Like, what the fuck?
His face looked fat and bloaty. And you can really tell that this guy was using makeup to cover his age. The facts of the matter with me, Channing Tatum is too damn old to be playing Gambit. And
once again, I don't think, as long as you embody the character, I don't give a shit how old you are. As long as you get on stage and do all the actions you can and you embody that character, I don't care. Like, if Blade came out like next year or something like that, Mahershala Ali's like 50 something. If he got on stage and killed it, I don't care how old he is. Like, all I care about is if he embodied the character or not. Like, if he doesn't, that's a bigger failure, in my opinion, versus just, oh, well, you got to be this certain age or whatever. It's like, yeah, I can understand from a certain point where you do want actors to come in and they are going to play these, like, roles for years to come. But that's why I'm not really against recasting at all. But apparently, sometimes, Disney and the MCU, they are against it. And I don't understand that logic. I always hated it. I feel like that's an entirely different discussion and argument you can make. But if the person is old and they embody the character, for example, Nathan Fillion coming in, he's like Guy Gardner, the older Lantern and shit. That dude's like old. He comes in, if he kills it, you didn't need anyone to come in that wasn't Nathan Fillion at that point. You picked the best person for the job, in my opinion. And that's what you do, whether old, young, etc. It's all about embodying the character, being the one at the casting call and killing it out of like 50,000 people that's already there. Which is why Tom Holland got Spider-Man over who's that other dude? I forget his name. His name's on the tip of my tongue too. Asa Butterfield. Yeah, that's why that happened, because Tom Holland killed it and everyone else was kind of like inferior compared to him. They saw something special, they picked him. Same for Blade. I'm sure there was a casting process of many people, probably younger than Mahershala Ali, but they picked Mahershala after casting call. It's just common knowledge, right? And maybe we'll get a movie with two Blades in it. Who fucking knows what they're gonna do at this rate? Again, things can change. I just think this criticism is not good for a lot of reasons. I think Gambit was mostly fine in this movie. If anything, I felt he needed a little bit more to do, but the beats they picked were fine enough. I don't have an issue. I think he was placed right. Because there's certain cameos in certain movies where it's like The Flash, where they are systematically terrible, but in comparison to The Flash, Deadpool and Wolverine did them right.
and I don't understand where the hype is. Maybe I'm just not in the comic books like that, but I don't understand.
Oh my god, here it comes. Maybe I'm not in the comic books like that. I couldn't understand why you have a problem with Gambit's comic accurate suit and the way it was portrayed so far, and eyeliner and all that other shit. Like, again, they could have had the red eyes and the stubble, but to me personally, all the other issues you're having problems with, oh, maybe I'm not into it like that, or maybe I'm not understanding this right. Oh, here it comes, the fake comic book fan scenario. I'm joking, but I swear if this happens, I'm gonna laugh.
Where the hype is with Gambit, he always been a baggage boy character.
What? Gambit has always been a baggage boy character. The grocery bag carrier, the nothing burger, the guy that's been a baggage boy that can't do anything, that surely hasn't done any badass moments that we can recall, right? Especially recently. So here it is, the baggage boy fighting a sentinel, which is known to, wipe all of these mutants out, right? The baggage boy. You got Rogue doing her thing right there.
Heads up!
Look at that cool shit right there. And then it gets better. Hold on, is it in here? Please tell me it's in here. Where he does the little psionic team up with Wolverine. I don't know if it is. It should be in here. Fuck! I'm not sure if I went too far or what. But you get the idea. When Gambit turns Wolverine's claws into the psionic card power ability that he has, and he jumps on the fucking sentinel, he starts chopping it up like that's fucking awesome. The cool team up. Then you have the sad moment of Gambit's death where he's fighting this big ass enhanced sentinel. He sacrifices himself for his team, and it's such a cool and sad moment, saving Rogue right here. But he's the baggage boy. I forgot about that.
And raise it. Your bet.
Take your bet and raise it. Sacrificing yourself for your squad and the woman you love. That's a baggage boy. That's all he does. Baggage. Carries the bags. Gets stabbed, obviously, but he takes the Sentinel head out with his powers. Remember the names, Gambit, Mon Ami. It's like, come on, man. He is a cool character. Where did you get this baggage boy shit from? The guy who went, I mean, we could even use a shit ass movie. The guy who went toe to toe for a second or two, well, for a good minute, actually, I would say, with Wolverine and X-Men Origins, like that Gambit, the baggage boy. Okay, buddy. Okay.
Like, even in the X-Men cartoon series, he's always been like a just a mediocre character. He was just like a baggage handler.
Baggage. I think you watched the wrong X-Men. I really did. I think you watched the wrong cartoon. What were you like half asleep during every episode so far when Gambit did something amazing? Right? I think you were though. I think you were.
Less than, character. But he is cool though. I really enjoyed the cameo.
Well, at least you admit it. At least you admit that part, but I don't know where the baggage boy thing came from. He was always a worthy asset that I clearly show laid it all down for his team in X-Men 97. So clearly that helped some members live to a large extent. I mean, do you pay attention to storytelling? I mean, come on.
Wolverine origins of Gambit. I think that's the type of tone they should set for Gambit.
I try not to remember too much of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I try my best. I try my hardest. I think I did like the actor in that movie, but I feel like that is just a huge, like, considering just the whole story and everything. And it's like they put in a cool Gambit themselves, he's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind that guy coming back, Tyler Kirsch. I would not mind him coming back in a multiverse role in the MCU. But the problem is that X-Men Origins Wolverine was terrible. It was awful. It didn't serve the main character. The ending is one of the more disappointing things I ever seen in a comic book film, where it's just Stryker walking away as Logan's mutant girlfriend dies, right? It's just like, what the fuck is this? Mute pool, terrible, awful, the worst rendition of Deadpool I think I ever seen. Every rendition of Deadpool so far, the Merc with the mouth, made fun of that shit to the point where they kill Ryan Reynolds in the own alternate timeline before he even conceived these movies, before he even took on these roles. That's how much they hated it. Killed Mute Pool, stopped Green Lantern from happening. It just, clearly they don't like that shit. Clearly they didn't like that shit whatsoever, and it shows with the jokes they made so far. Tyler Kirsch Gambit was in a cool fight scene, which looked kind of fucking goofy when Wolverine was clawing at the ladders and tearing them apart. He's not in the movie a lot, though. He's not prominent. It's just that scene and the helicopter scene, and that was it. Like, we don't see him that much. They could have had a big invasion on the island, and maybe Gambit could have been fighting, but they don't show that at all. They could have had more team-ups with him and Wolverine, but they didn't have more of that. I'm not opposed to seeing more of this guy. I just don't think that the script he was in serviced the character whatsoever and the people around him.
That guy, I think his name is Rich or something like that, or Koch or something like that played him in Wolverine Origins. That's the type of tone that I like. Now, I did like that guy as the role of Gambit because he was more dark. He had a little bit more edge to him, and I could see him in future projects. However, he's too old to play the character now. But I think moving forward,
You like him, but he's suddenly too old to play the character, even though, like, again, you have an older guy playing Gambit. If he could do it, he could do it. And I'm pretty sure he would take the opportunity because MCU is a lot of money these days. Again, I'm not against the multiverse variant since it's in the multiverse anyway. I mean, why not? I think it'd be a cool idea. You might as well strike while the iron is hot before moving on to a ton of new X-Men in the sacred timeline.
they should get somebody that has his tone, that has his masculine look, because he had a more edgier. Gambit to me is a more edgy character, masculine character.
I don't think that Gambit even looked remotely good either in terms of appearance. He was just a street dude. Like, he had a jacket and some pants or whatever. It looked nothing like the comics. It was like just taking a general street costume with no edge, no accents, nothing on it of the sort. I'll show you how he looks real quick because this guy is making like 80,000 dumb points a minute, and I kind of have to show context of the costume, so give me a second. There it is. There it is. It's like, what is this? He looks like the Riddler. It's just, he looks like the Riddler, dude. I'm serious. Like, it's just a generic costume in comparison. It doesn't really, you could tell they tried to put some of the accents in, but it doesn't stand out like the MCU form factor costume, right? It's just a lot more generic. You got the bowler hat and everything. It's a regular street costume, whereas the one in MCU is a lot more comic accurate.
Character, not this Channing Tatum jokey wacky portrayal, which sucked.
I'm not sure, but I swear the whole banter between Gambit and Wolverine in the new, well, not the new movie, but the fucking X-Men Origins. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm sure they had banter in there that was supposed to be perceived as funny, especially in the helicopter. I'm 99% positive that was the intent with that scene. But you don't like jokey stuff, and I swear that came from that movie. I'm just saying.
But I think it's time. I think Channing Tatum does have a little bit more youth. He just haven't found his big break. Maybe he was one of the actors that want to do something strange for a piece of change to get to the top. But
do something strange for a piece of change.
his career's pretty much dried up. It's not what it was back in the late 2000s to like 16ish when he had the potential to be a big superstar. But
I think that's bullshit because if anything, that reignited interest that yes, he should have been Gambit all along, and it shows Marvel that hey, with this cameo, we want more of it. We want to see you do something with it. I don't think he's gonna get a full-fledged movie. I don't think he's gonna get his Gambit movie. I have no idea, but look. I mean, they also want to make a sequel to Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Why not make it Deadpool and Wolverine and Gambit, right? Like, you got the three characters that a lot of people would like to see together, and I mean, Hugh should be for it. Ryan Reynolds, they're all for it. Why not lean into what most of these people wanted with that movie? Whether you agree or disagree, you're mostly in the minority with this, with hating Deadpool and Wolverine, and I understand that. Just hating elements of it, like Gambit, for example, I understand, but most of those people, I see them in the minority. The majority, they would go flock the fuck out to see Deadpool, Wolverine, and Gambit in one movie, just fucking joking around for like literally 2 to 3 hours. It doesn't matter. It's just, it is what it is, because that movie was so well received and it was popular.
But overall, I just think he sucked. I just think he sucked. But there's another group of sheeple fans, Marvel peasants, that like this stuff. And my question to you guys, I mean, help the harsh critic to understand, why do you guys want this? Why?
Because it was funny, and I liked the movie, and I enjoyed the characters, and I would like to see more of it. It's not hard to understand why I want more of these things, and why I would kill for a sequel of Deadpool and Wolverine just like that with Gambit in it. I mean, that's just gonna be funny. I like Deadpool funny. I like my funny Deadpool. I like my serious Deadpool too, but I also like my funny fourth wall breaking, comedy wise Deadpool as well. I mean, maybe you don't understand. People can also like different things. I mean, you don't really like a lot of comedic beats, and you like dark movies. I understand that, but at least if I knew what my prefaces was for that in particular, I would be like, well, I'm not gonna watch a wall-to-wall comedy character like Deadpool and expect it to cater to me. I mean, I would know that ahead of time, right?
Why? The guy's 44 years old, about to be 45 in a couple months. By the time this guy gets on screen and the script, this guy will be almost 50 years old, and you guys want this guy to do a Gambit movie? Why?
Because it would be funny. I'm gonna keep saying it because it would be funny. It would be great. And if they do it right, if they play their cards right, again, I think the approach is they should do Deadpool, Wolverine, and Gambit. And you can make it like a fucking Big Mac burger of a title with Channing Tatum, Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman. And I'm sure it would sell 1 billion just like the last one did.
Please help the harsh critics understand.
Just told you.
But I don't know. I think Channing Tatum, I think he has potential, but he's getting older, you guys. Like, he's starting to get washed up. And
Everyone gets fucking old. Again, Michael Keaton, nobody expected him to come back as Batman at 70 something, and he did.
I think his portrayal for a Gambit solo movie is pretty much done. I think Marvel should stick to an unknown character. A little.
I believe we will probably see him again. Some crossover, or like I said, they want to do a sequel to Deadpool and Wolverine. That would be perfect.
Big young full character, in the same tone as they did in Wolverine Origins. That Gambit, I can see a solo movie with that type of Gambit, not this bullshit that Channing Tatum.
Well, luckily you don't have any creative control at Marvel, so you don't harbor any decisions like that of the sort. And I mean, they picked the person that really wanted to be Gambit, like Tyler Kirsch or whatever his name was. He already got his time to shine. He already had his. I can see why they picked the other guy. It makes sense.
It's portraying because it sucks. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people's not gonna like my opinion, but I do know there's a lot of people that agree with me and that appreciate me to come up here and say the shit that needs to be said. Because Channing Tatum, he sucks in that costume. He looks too old. He looks too damn fat in the face, and he needs to give it up. It's good he got to do his dream.
Basically, he's harping on someone's physical appearance and trying to talk this masculinity game and say you can't. Oh man, eyeliner, ew. And there's characters who wore eyeliner that were badasses. It seems like a lot of fucking cherry picking, nitpicking. I don't even want to fucking finish the rest of the. I can't stand another minute of this dude. It's just, I've already had enough with the DC video that I did his for Superman and how he was trying to harp on that. So, brain cells lost. This is a shit channel, man. Just god awful, awful, awful Snyderverse fanboy. Jesus fucking Christ.